When you hear the letters SRT, the first car that might come to mind is the Hellcats or even the Red Eyes. And if you've been a Dodge fan for a while, you might even think of the SRT8 cars such as the Dodge Challengers and the Chargers, or maybe even the SRT4 cars such as the Dodge Caliber and the Dodge Neon that pioneered the early 2000s for Dodge. But what if I told you that around that same time there was another car on Dodge's lineup that they were thinking of giving it the entire SRT treatment to? And if you haven't been able to guess the car by now, it's none other than the early 2010s Dodge Dart. The original Dodge Dart was introduced in 1960 and it was in production until 1976 when the gas crisis was starting to creep up on Americans and a big V8 muscle car didn't just sound as reasonable anymore. But many years later in 2013, Dodge decided it was time to bring back that Dodge Dart name to its lineup, but this time the cars were introduced as a mid-sized compact sedan with engines ranging from a 1.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder to a 2.4 liter Tiger Shark 4-cylinder engine, and the horsepower numbers were pretty reasonable, ranging from 160 horsepower up to 184 horsepower on those 2.4 liter models. This car was also a collaboration between Dodge and its brother brand in Italy called Fiat, hence why the car has that Italian style look to it with these bug looking headlights. I also want to mention that this car was also called the Fiat Viago in other parts of the world, and they even had a hatchback version called the Fiat Ultimo, which honestly doesn't look too bad in my opinion, and I think if they would have brought the hatchbacks over to America as well, then that could have definitely saved this car's sales for a few more years at least. But then again, that just goes to prove that Americans don't ever get the coolest version of a foreign car. Dodge, however, wanted this compact sedan added up to its lineup to replace the Dodge Neon that saw its production cut short due to low sales, and because of that, they tried to gear this car more towards the younger generation, and that's exactly why this car came available in both a 6-speed manual transmission alongside automatic transmission options, making it a great competitor to other front-wheel drive cars with around the same horsepower such as the Honda Civic. But you know, with way less reliability coming from an Italian-American car. When this car was introduced in 2013, it didn't get the excitement Dodge was hoping for, which in return wasn't making them a lot of profits, and Dodge very quickly went into panic mode, so they started brainstorming of ideas that would attract more younger buyers, like adding a rear spoiler, or even these functional hood scoops, or maybe even best of all, adding a turbo and a tune to your 2.4 liter engine to now allow it to produce around 300 horsepower on a stick shift front wheel drive car that would literally smoke the competition. Yes, they were actually going to do all of those things at the SRT department of Dodge and call this beast the Dodge Dart SRT4, but unfortunately for them, the sales were so bad on this vehicle that Dodge never even had the chance to test the SRT version, as the production on these cars ended just 3 years after the release date in 2016. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and let me know if you would buy a Dodge Dart SRT4 in 2024.